is on the track.
Hey, let that ride.
We gotta be leaned in. Leaned in or whatever you got to nose on.
George St. Pierre. I know that's right.
Yeah, no. You got sophistications.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's happening?
What's good?
Welcome to another episode of the Frag Illuminati. We
Back
got
again.
our boys. Be easy, George St. Pierre.
We.
All right. So that sounds like a yacht. The George.
I don't know where I got that from. It came to my brain. I don't know where I got that from. I heard it somewhere though.
Oh, okay. No shit. I want to sail up on this George St. Pierre.
Mm-hmm.
Like a cruise ship. What's going on?
What do we call that? Chilling once again. You know how we do. Chill, more meal or something. I don't know.
Oh shit! Okay.
Whoa.
New view. All right.
I don't like that.
What's going on?
You left it regular, Jack.
So what we're talking about today is
the ins and outs of buying and selling.
I need to change the bottom of this thing here.
Oh.
What the hell? Oh, damn.
He's still on the other episode.
Give us a second while our producer make an adjustment to our header.
You see what happened when we ain't got Lenny in?
Say, man, what we doing with the banner, Eric? What we doing here?
We just out here being reckless, man.
I did change it. It must have been not saved. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right, y'all continue to talk, right?
Oh, yeah.
We are live.
Who cares?
I know that's right.
They got to see the foolery.
Mm-hmm.
Might say, you already know we here to talk about the ins and outs of buying and selling. You know, just trying to see what's going on. What's y'all protocol, and how we all deal with because I'm pretty sure we all know that the buying and selling kind of go hand in hand as far as the process with it, or it should, which a lot of people don't know. And I know we got to help a lot of people out with that too, because a lot of people doing regular stuff out here just giving their money away for no reason. It's kind of dumb. Well, I'll say I know.
Let them know to do that $1,400. Yeah. $1,400 for a Venice.
Or Louis Vuitton, man.
Oh, yeah.
I said that wrong. Louis Vuitton, man. He got everybody. Like everybody just threw all due diligence out the window. They seen a great deal.
No, I'm gonna say what the fellas are talking about now is basically buying and selling within groups. But what we're gonna plan on covering throughout this is buying and selling, period, as being a buyer, things that you should look out as far as being a buyer, being a seller, and also in all types of buying, whether you're a retail buyer, if you buy from these discount sites, or if you buy from buy from people within these Facebook groups, and you are trusting pretty much, a stranger, giving them their money, and vice versa. Right. So we're going to cover a little bit of all of that. So the fellas finally got it. Kind of got it started. We were talking about They were talking about a couple of instances that we've experienced in Facebook groups. Well, others in Facebook groups have
Oh, that we've seen.
right, experience where they didn't do their homework, and a lot of times homework you can do as much homework as you possibly can and still fall victim.
Oh, you
But
can definitely can, but there's ways you can
right,
at least help yourself try to prevent it from happening. There's
exactly.
no surefire way to stop it, but
Hmm.
there's definitely a lot of levels to it that a lot of precautions that you can take to kind of limit it from happening.
Exactly. So, like, what we're talking about now is like buying and selling within groups. So, have you guys? I mean, we buy and sell across from each other. You know, we bought fragrances from each other, right? And we've sold fragrances within fragrance groups, and we've bought fragrances within fragrance group. So, let's share some of our experiences and some of the prints or some of the guidelines that you guys use to not get burned, or some of the guidelines that you find out to as far as what to look for, what's a good price, what's a bad price, what's a good seller, what's a good buyer. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it.
I'm about to say, what you want to start off? You want to start off with the buy-in tip?
Let's go. Let's do
I
it.
mean, just with the buying, as far as like Facebook group, really, it can apply almost anywhere, but Facebook groups big on being able to do due diligence to you for the most part. Um, like I tell everybody, because I have a lot of people that come to me and ask me like good sellers and stuff like that, and like I tell everybody, if it's somebody else you don't know, always it doesn't hurt to do a respectful legit check on them. And all a legit check is just you put their name out there, put their picture out there, whatever. Ask for a respectful legit check. You see um if they have people that vouch for them, and especially somebody that you trust or that you may trust in the game. If they say they're legit, then there's a good chance that they're legit. Or you just see how many people that they have say legit, that they're legit, and you can save yourself that way. Because I know a lot of people. One of the biggest issues with buying that a lot of people run across is catching deals that are almost too good to be true most of the time. And instead of waiting and saying because they don't want to miss out and somebody else get it, they would say, "Okay, here, take my money." They could have every sign in America that it's bad and say, "Nope, take my money because I don't want to miss this deal." You don't do your due diligence and you don't want to miss out. Dude,
Typically, if it's too good to be true,
it's
chances are
too good.
it's too good to be true, freaking true. Bernie, what makes a good seller? What
Oh,
makes somebody a good seller?
from my experience, we go old school. Word of mouth is one of the best, and
Hmm.
people who typically do good work, people gonna usually speak highly of their experience with that individual. And let's say we use one for example, and we just it's not in particular. Everyone I dealt with in the group did well. It's like Dre take that extra step with the white tape and the extra packaging and all of this other stuff. And that means a lot when you're buying something that's not brand new in box, taking that extra mile and that extra step. Just like with you, Rock, that quick delivery, stuff like that. So usually whenever I'm looking for a good seller, it's word of mouth, their references and stuff like that. Something that I've been doing lately, I will go to each one of the groups and go into search and I look at the history and start seeing that person's name, looking at any of the comments, anything negative, whatever the case may be. I go to their profile, try to get some information from there. But usually, how quick they respond, past experiences from what I've seen, word of mouth of people who dealt with them, and the quality of the product that you're getting. Those are the things that make me lean a little bit more towards that seller and trust them with my money.
So you're right. So when they come to you and they be like, okay, I got a partial, right?
Mm-hmm.
A partial is a used bottle of perfume, and they give you the levels of where that perfume is at, right?
Mm-hmm.
So part of it being a legitimate seller is once you receive um receive it that product, that it's exactly in the condition that they advertise it to be in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's a part of it, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that everything that he's pretty much said is what you want to look out for. You want to word of mouth. You want
Mm-hmm.
to see what their history was as far as selling goods, right? You want them to be able to ship in a timely manner, right? And then take care of the product, right? We're
Mm-hmm.
dealing with flammable uh aerosol liquids, right? And in most of the cases, glass bottles, right? And so
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that that person is packing it and shipping it and placing it in a position where it's pretty much going to arrive to you safely.
Mm-hmm.
Arrive to you safely.
And also, another big thing that a lot of people miss out on that I've noticed is communication.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Communication and another one, and I think this helps. This would help sellers a lot. Having a backup plan if something goes wrong, like
Mm.
having a fallout plan. Let's say you ship something off and the bottle breaks in transit.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't look at what they would do in that situation. They just say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, they broke it in transit. Well, show problem now. Like, no, have that's going to tarnish your name. Like, as much as you don't want to give that money back, because I don't
Mm-hmm.
ever, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you just have to do what you have to do to keep your name in the clear. I mean, because you have to treat yourself like a brand. So
True.
you have to look at the people that treat themselves like a brand and say, okay, if this goes wrong, what is their fallback plan? Like, what do they do to make sure the customer is happy at the end of the day? And that's what I always try to do. I try to make sure that if anything goes wrong in that situation, there's good communication. We come to a deal, bottom line, and then if something goes wrong, then I can replace it or whatever the case may be, just keep my name clear because I don't want to have
Mm-hmm.
a bad name out there either.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Bernie,
And oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
what would be a reason why you would want to even go to a Facebook group to purchase a fragrance?
Because you get decent prices better than you can in retail. The thing with retail is an automatic markup because of the fact of paying the employees and all of the other things that we talked about in our other episode. So when you go to these Facebook groups, you got people who are wholesalers, you got people from different areas that are able to obtain quality fragrances for a good price. So the groups, you can really save a lot of money if you can find you a good seller and get a quality product, and it's a win-win for both people. So those groups are real beneficial if you have the right people. Um, I have 3 or 4 that I deal with. When you have the right people, they save you a whole hell of a lot of money, man, and give you a nice good product.
Oh yeah.
So, Dre, when you decide to go ahead and sell a product, what factors do you go into to figure out how you're going to price it?
Uh,
Mm,
I
good
look at the
question.
level. I look at the going rate. I typically I go to sites. So what I
Mm-hmm.
typically look at what's the lowest price an official site
Mm-hmm.
has it for sale. Like something that I know is official. Like if it's something like something pops up like AliExpress or something like that, and it says it's going for $40, then I'm not listening to them. I'm looking at a site that I know is legit, but has the lowest prices. I go off of that. Well, if they're selling their bottle at this, what reason do they have to pay me above that? So
You
then
know,
I pretty much
I do the
oh,
same thing, but I also look at the fact whether or not they have it in stock, right? So if you can have a
mm-hmm,
bottle of
Mm-hmm.
stock for $100, but if I mean, you can sell your bottles at $100, but if you don't have any in stock, then they're not available at $100, right?
well
And
yeah,
so
Mm-hmm.
I'll go up on my price depending on that. So like
How about and depending on what it also depends on what I'm selling. Because like a lot of times you're not like with some of the stuff I have, you're not gonna find anywhere. So I can put whatever price I want to on it, and you're gonna pay it or you're not. But I always try my thing since I've been in the game is I don't necessarily want to cheat myself, but I also don't want to have astronomical prices. Like I want people to be able to try what they want to try. Because because I know everybody is not in the same financial category as other people. So I know there's people out there that want to try stuff but just can't afford it at the time. So if you make it a little bit more affordable, first it can get out my way, so I'm not tripping, and I'm still getting a couple dollars for it, and they get to try something that they really want. So it's like a win-win on for me.
And I don't want to cut you off, Rock. I want the listeners to catch that because we talked about that in chat a few times. Listeners, what I want you to understand is that when these guys are selling stuff from their collection, one of the main things I always see and I hear, I want them to be able to experience a quality fragrance because everybody doesn't have it in their budget in order to get it. It's not one person in Frag Illuminati, even a few other people, we're not going to name their names, even in chat, in forums, we get frustrated that they're trying to give them a quality product because they know everyone can't get hold of niche. And they give it to you at a certain price so that you can enjoy it. So when you have these guys that's really giving you those deals, kind of look at that, man, because it's not like they're trying to get rich off of it, but at the same time, they want you to experience the same thing they're experiencing too.
Exactly.
I
Which
was
leads
say, oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Lead me to my question to you, Bernie. And the reason why I'm asking you this, Bernie, is because once we talked prior to going on air, we Bernie doesn't do a lot of selling, right? But he has bought from. So I'm speaking to Bernie as from a seller's point of view. I'm sorry, from a buyer's point of view.
Yeah, buyer point.
Right. And so let me ask you this, Bernie, and this is a question that a lot of listeners are probably, would like to, answer this, that, and the other. So if Dre sold you a bottle of I'm trying not to be actual factual, but just use examples.
Go ahead.
Right. Sold you a bottle of Amarage's Jubilation 25, right? Which we all know is a $350 bottle, brand new, right? Only sprayed it twice. In your mind, is that bottle still worth $350?
In my mind, I will, but I'm not going to tell him that. I'm being, I love Dre. I love all my brothers. The thing is that I know how everyone take care of their stuff. You, Dre, everybody. So I don't haggle at all when they give me a price because I know that you're getting a quality product. I know that it's a brand new damn bottle, and he's doing me a favor by giving it to me for a certain price. If he say that it's $3 something, let's say it's $350, he said it's $3, I'm not gonna argue with him about it. Right? It's still cheaper than you can get it from retail, and then you didn't even add delivery to it. And knowing how Dre is, if we was off camera, Dre may do other things like a little layaway or whatever to work with me because he understand, everybody got certain stuff that's going on. So I never haggle a price with any of the people because I know what the original price is, and if they're giving it to me, it's damn near getting a brand new bottle. The box, the whole presentation, everything. And I got the protection that if something go wrong, Drake said we'll work that out. So hell yeah, I wouldn't argue with it.
Okay. So Dre, almost the same question. In theory, when you're selling, do the bottles hold that value? Now, amongst each other, we always look out for each other, but in Fragcom, do the bottles hold their value? So if you was to open the bottle, sprayed it twice, 300 something bottles, are you getting $300 for it back?
Well, That is all dependent on what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Example, and chat, I mean, chat, people that's watching, you've seen this bottle 200 times. I don't care. We'll do two of them. Let me see. We'll go. We'll go here. No, that's getting a little bit hard to get. Let me see here. We'll go
Why
with there.
Oh, shit.
All right. So we have here Zerjoff Golden Grain,
Mm.
widely available. You can go to the store, pick this up today. If I was to spray this, I can probably get close to what I paid. I'm probably not $50 off, something like that.
Mm.
You're not gonna get what you're paying for. Kuwait exclusive.
Mm.
I can open it, spray it once or twice. You're not gonna find this anywhere. I can get $300-400 more because you can't find it, and you may want it really bad. So it's all dependent on what the fragrance is, how hard it is to get, and that also determines price. I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna beat myself out completely. Like if I can get more, then I'm going for it. Like if it makes sense to go for more, then cool. Like this,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not worried about it. Like if I want to pick it up again, I'll just go pick it up again. But if I'm selling it, I probably don't want it anyway. Sometimes because still Bernie got a lot of the stuff I still want, but you know, he had the joints on his list, so I was like, let me go ahead and help him out, get them out the way. But I'm like,
Now,
some of those I'll go back and get, but it's all just depending on what it is.
I like
all
you
right.
brought up
So,
that Dubai joint because just like you said, it was hard to get. Now you
right.
can set your price. It's just like you're having a house. People always talk
Yeah,
about well, it's not worth this. You can't tell me what that house is worth to me.
I
You
was
know what
it's
I
worth
mean?
whatever they willing to pay.
Go ahead, Rock. My bad.
Oh no, no, you good, you good. It's an open discussion, but this
Mm-hmm.
is like there's a lot of information to cover within this, and I remember we talking that we may have to do this in two parts, but right. But Dre,
Or we could just drag it out. Who cares?
is there an entry or is there ever an instance where a fragrance can become unsellable,
Unsellable?
or is it just not worth selling?
Yeah,
Mm.
of course. We'll
I can
take
answer that too.
Mm-hmm.
we'll
I can
take
answer that
Boundless
too.
for instance.
Mm-hmm.
Boundless at a full bottle, well worth the sale.
Mm-hmm.
Boundless at under the word boundless, you gonna spend what you selling for. You gonna spend that in the
Shipping.
shipping.
All
So I
right.
was like,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
pointless. I'm like, I'd rather just if I'm gonna give it away, I might as well just give it away, or just say, hey, pay me for shipping and you can have it. But I mean, stuff like that, that's one instance. Let's see, where is it? Oh, there it is. Another instance, brand new full bottle,
What is that?
Michael
Michael
Jordan.
Jordan cologne.
Okay.
Mhm.
Anybody buying this?
Not on the gray market. Nobody's buying it.
Nobody's buying this. It's
Okay.
like I literally got it for nostalgic sake. You
Mm-hmm.
can go find this now. Like, why pay me? I mean, I might be able to get $5, or you can go to Burlington and pay 15.
Mhm.
Not really worth it.
Mhm.
What were you about to say, Bernie?
Well, remember when I was about to do that designer bundle because I was going to try
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of it? It was one of the hardest things I had to do because brand new in bottle, when you look in the search and look at the competitive prices, it was almost to the point, giving me the 6 bottles for like 150, 200, it wasn't even worth it. So I just went ahead and just gave it to my son.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, if it's not something rare or high commodity, in a way, I wind up losing. So I just wind up just giving it as gifts or just giving it to my son.
But and
It was
then
really, really hard.
I would say
Yeah.
to even add on to, because I think a lot of people get confused. Now there are a few people that do actually make some money from it because they
Mm-hmm.
wholesale or whatever. But for regular
Mm-hmm.
people like us, and a lot of the people in the community, they're just selling stuff that's in their collection. So people are
Mm-hmm.
thinking like they see these prices like, oh man, you want too much for it, blah blah blah. Well, you didn't factor in the point that I'm paying for shipping, I'm paying for the
Mm-hmm.
packing materials. That's not
Mm-hmm.
cheap. It's like you're not just going to the store and getting one piece of tape, one box, one piece of bubble wrap. Like you're going. They don't sell it like that. You're getting the whole thing.
And
So
you also
everything you.
what
Oh,
other
go ahead.
people don't also factor in is your time. It's
And
like
your time.
in your
It's
time.
very time consuming.
Because when you think about it, depending on how you are shipping, whether it's the post office or FedEx or whatever, however your shipping method is, it takes time out of your day to actually get it there. And you ain't walking into a FedEx or UPS or a post office and be the first person in line. It takes time to do that. And
You're
chances
going to
are
be
you're
there.
not right. And unless it's under extraordinary circumstances, you're not doing that for just one package. If you are actually selling several fragrances and this, that, and the other, you're gonna wait until you got a bundle to take with you.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth making that trip, right?
Yeah, because then you have to factor in the gas it takes you to get there.
Yeah, exactly.
So
So
like people be thinking you making like millions of dollars. Like no,
right,
half of my sale price is just in your shipping and packing and my
mhm,
time. It's like
exactly.
I got nothing from the bottle because you didn't give me retail for it, so I already lost there. You didn't.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to get free shipping
Mm-hmm.
for some odd reason.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're trying to get a bottle well under what I've already well undered. So that in itself is goofy. And then you'd
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh no, can you then the people with the special request, can you take the box out? No, I can't. You're getting the box. If it comes in the box, I have no use for it and I'm not throwing it away. You're getting this because
Mm-hmm.
I'm paying for it.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
Does it, I'm saying like people don't realize like at least on the selling side of things. And then see what's messed up about the game. A lot of people don't realize that you can get got both ways.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a bad seller and you can have a bad buyer.
Mm-hmm.
What
The
makes
buyer,
what makes a bad buyer?
from what I've seen,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been so blessed not to have to deal with it yet, but from what I've seen, you can get the person that gets a bottle and is intentionally trying to get over.
Mm-hmm.
So they're gonna get that bottle, depending on who it is. Let's say for instance, I've seen something where somebody bought a bottle and then said, "Oh no, this ain't what you said you was giving me, so I'm gonna need my money back." The seller says, "Okay, cool, whatever, I'm not tripping." The buyer sends back a broken bottle that they previously had, so now you just got a free bottle and your money back, and you just
Mm.
left. Yeah, they're scandalous like that. Like they will send back, they will have something broken and send it back to you.
Right. And so, in the ways to protect yourself on stuff like that is, I mean, and a lot of people do not take the time out to do this because I know I haven't, because I'm hoping that it's never been that serious for somebody.
Mm.
But write down the batch number of the bottle that you're sending out. That way, you're protecting yourself as far as what you're sending out. So when the person sits there and makes that accusation that they didn't receive what you sent them, have them show you the batch code of the broken bottle
Hmm.
or the what's the name bottle that they have, and they don't match. You know they on some crap, right?
Yeah.
So you know that
I
they on
remember
some
I
crap.
remember in the brotherhood it was one dude,
Mhm,
he was real smooth with it. And someone
mhm,
finally caught up with him. What he would
mhm,
do is he would buy a bottle from someone. And what he would do is he would decant something, he would pull the juice out of the bottle
mhm,
and claim
Hmm.
like, hey, this is what he showed a picture, this is what you said it was, and this is what it is. And what Andre talking about, protecting your name, right? And the guy was like, there's no way in the world that happened. You hit search. Next thing you know, this guy had did this to 10 sellers.
Yep.
You know, and he got caught because he messed around and went across the wrong seller who had a real good name. But this guy had made a killing off of getting top shelf stuff, draining the bottle down, saying some of it spilled or this happened or that happened. I think one I looked at, he actually broke the bottle, but he actually transferred the juice into something else. And he had did like 10 transactions and someone caught him. You know, one of the guys in the group
And
caught
the
him. And
thing
I was
about
like,
it
it's
is that,
crazy.
and you would wonder why they don't get caught, because I mean, there's so many
Mhm.
groups within the fragrance community, and it's a small
Mhm.
community because we, from group to group, we still run into a lot of the same people,
Mhm.
but they change their names. You know, they
Mhm.
they do different profiles, and they go through, and yeah, and they know because they do have that fail safe, especially if, and we're going to get into payment methods in a minute, but they do have that fail safe. If you're sending stuff through PayPal, you can pretty much get your money back, right? And
Mhm.
so a lot of buyers put criteria into their sale. They prefer to be paid PayPal. If they're going to go PayPal route, they prefer to be paid friends and family. One, to protect themselves against a fee, and two, you won't be easily able to go back and retract that money. All right.
Mhm.
What other reasons would or other payment methods that they use in ways to protect themselves, Dre? Because I mean, you have the most experience with buying and selling.
Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
none of them. There's
Mm-hmm.
all see. It's all right. How can I explain this? All of them are going to be dangerous for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And so PayPal, which is just probably the safest one to use, is either going to be good for the buyer or it's going to be good for the seller.
Mhm.
If you use friends and family, you send that money, you're not getting that back as the buyer unless they send it back to you.
Mhm.
You use goods and services, well, that leaves the seller open because then the buyer can say, "Oh no, I didn't get that." Dispute. They got their money back. The seller gets nothing because they're gonna have to prove it got to them. All this extra stuff. So there's always an open. There's always somebody gonna be on the open end of everything. Like somebody's always gonna be. There's always gonna be at least one person at risk, regardless of what you use. The safest. I use this loosely. The safest way is in person. That would
Mhm.
probably be the safest. As far as, and this is only for knowing what you're getting and actually having the money in hand. You still got to be careful with that because you don't know people. So if you don't know the person, then that still leaves you open for any dangerous activity because you never know what people are on. So there's always like that. I think that's what one of the things that people get confused is like everybody wants to be on the kind of winning end of the situation. So it's like if I say if the buyer says because this was the used thing for the goods and services that was the safest method for the longest for the buyer. The sellers are like, okay, well, you send me this money, you've already taken $20-$30 from my sale because PayPal getting theirs.
Mm-hmm.
They getting their money with their goods and services. So they taking that bread out. Then let's say the buyer decides, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a dickhead. I got their stuff, dispute, give my money back. Because as a matter of fact, there was somebody that was doing that in another group. Um, they were buying stuff. They had a history of going back and disputing it. So it was leaving the seller out of money. So it's everything, like there's no surefire way for everybody, as far as I know at this moment. Luckily, like I said, luckily for me, I haven't been burned yet. But like I said, that's when it comes down to dealing with certain people. Like as a buyer, I suggest everybody, if you find a good one or two sellers, stick with them. Like don't venture out too much, because then you're just setting yourself up for failure. Stick with who you know is good. When they come across a deal, they'll hit you up, and then you probably get even better deal, because that's what I did. It was like I got some sellers. They were like, okay, I know you good, so hey man, first dibs. I got this. Do you want it? Cool. Sellers.
How do you protect yourself? How do you protect yourself from uh fake product? There's so many clones and everything going on. This, that, and the other. Is it the color? Can you tell by the color of the juice, or
I mean,
what is it? I mean,
that's
what?
all going to come down to research. I think in that instance, that's when it's good to make a list of things that you want. Because if you make a list of things that you want, you can research, and you can see, like, if you have like a certain, and not some super huge dumb list, you have like 5 or 10 on there that you really want. You keep researching them, make sure you know everything they look like and stuff like that, so you have a pretty good idea when you see it. Like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what I remember seeing. Like, that's about the best you can do with that, and just keeping the honest seller.
And I mean, because you can search YouTube, and
I'm saying there's always that open
right.
thing there. So
Yeah, you can
you
search,
know, you can only do so much.
and they'll give you information about what bottles are legit and this, that, and the other. But scammers have figured out a way to get into bottles, right? So you can have
They have.
a legitimate bottle and bad juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
From 1 to 1, you cannot tell the difference between Aventus and Mark Blanc Legend 1-on-1, right?
See,
Just
now what I did with that, what you're talking about, when I
right.
first got my feet wet, I used to get decants first. And then
Mm-hmm.
if I liked it, then I would ask for it. So that way I have a generalized idea, like if this is good or not. But that's what I did for beginners. I had got the decant or the sample first before I went and made the purchase. But I mean, it's like you say, you still can get burned. Remember, we was talking about the other day. Dre was like, they need to throw them damn bottles away, because what they doing is holding on to them bottles and filling it with that bullshit, and then they
Right.
sell it to you.
Definitely them Venice flackens, them whatever the words is. Yeah, the flacones, foods, whatever they is. Like, that ain't number the top. You just get a large bottle of water. Like, you can do anything. That's what I'm saying. And then people want to buy them so
They're
much.
taking those bottles and they're filling up the regular size bottle. Like, you can take a 7-ounce bottle of 7-ounce bottle of Mark Blanc Explorer, pour it into an Aventus bottle, and you got a $400 bottle of Aventus in here, and you've actually just used an $89 bottle of Mark Blanc.
No.
Right.
That's the worst part. You catch somebody, like, they've been catching people selling the empty bottles. So let's say you get the empty flacon of 1992 of Venice.
Right.
You pour that Mont Blanc in there. Now you just stumbled across a $1,200 bottle.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like, reusing these bottles, unless it's a bottle
And
that you
the thing
bought out the
is,
store.
and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. If it's too good to be true, then it's more than likely too good to be true.
Yeah.
Like you said, those bottle of those flat coons of Aventus cost like $1,200. If someone comes to you and say, "Okay, I got a flat coon of Aventus for $500," you need to start asking questions, right? So it goes hand in hand on that. Now, Bernie brought up decants, right?
What's up?
Decants are bought and sold a lot through Fragcom and this, that, and the other. What are the due diligence as far as those, and what are good prices when it comes to decants and this, that, and the other? Because they fluctuate And what are you looking for as far as a buyer looking to buy decants? What would be your reasons to buy them and this, that, and the other? And what are you looking for as far as people scamming you when buying and selling decants?
Well, I do just like Andre said. I have a list of stuff that I want to try, and what I do is if I see a person who's a decant seller, I go into search, look and see their transactions with different people. I even go as far as talking to those individuals, making sure that they're not friends. That's another thing. Make sure they're not friends. Because let's say if they're friends, when scams are being ran, it's not just only one person,
I
right?
Well,
was
I
say it's a
understand.
team.
well,
Yeah.
like we do it though.
No, no, I'm saying.
Because I mean, the moment that if Dre says that he's selling something, we run into the post and saying it's a legit seller. We all
Mhm.
do it, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they
yeah.
might think we in on some shit. So
Yeah.
No,
right,
but I mean, everybody got good reputations though.
right,
Like when one of my recent DKs I got from Lou,
mm-hmm,
well known, good dude. You can go into the search, good business. This
mm-hmm,
is the guy that I get stuff from. You know
mm-hmm,
what I'm saying? Now, when it's somebody I really don't know, I'm probably going to check in the search. I'm looking at the people that they sold to, looking at any comments. Once I see that everything checks out, then I go ahead and talk to them. I don't really haggle a whole lot about price. I very rarely do that, because whenever the people are putting it out, you can look and search and you can kind of see the going rate for it too.
no
So when
doubt.
I first started out before I met y'all,
Mhm.
what I would do is the search. I would look at it. I have the decant, and then when I make the purchase, because someone sold me some bad juice before, that's how I was able to catch it. And they
Mhm.
did everything under the sun to try it. I'm like, nah, bruh. Let me hit PayPal up and see what they got to say about it. But that's the thing that helped me because I had a decant, and then I also knew somebody else who had it. Now
Mhm.
that's two different joints, and yours don't smell nothing like that, you know.
Mhm.
But those are the things that I do. It's a few the decants I had that I really like to deal with. They stopped now. They moving into bottles. The only person I deal with now is Lou. That's it. Lou or either within our circle.
I
Okay.
was say
But those
Lou definitely a good dude.
and that's the stuff I had. The search is really big. Stop. Don't be lazy. Go into that search and look those people up. If you see that their profile only been up for 2 months, they only been in the frag group for 2 weeks, that look kind of shady to me. You know what I'm
I
saying?
was like,
Uh,
it's crazy that you have said it though, but I know there's so
hmm
many people that's new to it and they trying to get their feet wet in the game. But
hmm
people, this is your money you're talking about. Like,
Bullshit.
just like act like it's really your money. Like
hmm
people be spending, just be throwing money away like it's somebody else's. Like, no, you work for this, so you might want to do what you
hmm
need to do to make sure you can what you're supposed to be getting.
Okay, so answer
hmm
me this. Why is
What's
it worth
good?
it then? Why is it worth it? Because if you sitting here telling me that as a seller and or as a buyer, like if
hmm
I'm a buyer, if I'm a buyer, I gotta be aware of people sending me fake juice. If I'm a seller, I gotta wait. I mean, I gotta worry about folks um claiming that they didn't get what I claimed to sell them. Just that and the other.
Hmm.
So if I'm a seller, I'm sorry. If I'm a buyer, I'm also suspect to not getting any product at all, just throwing my money away. What
hmm
why what is the benefit of me doing it that way as opposed to just going to Neiman Marcus and just buying it out loud, buying it
Just
out
just
now?
like I said, in the beginning, to save money. You
I
know,
mean, that's all it is at the end of the day.
Worth it
Shit.
though.
to save money.
Mhm.
One of the things I kind of go into it before I met y'all. Don't what my grandfather used to tell me. Don't do something if you can't afford to walk away from it. Meaning that if
Mhm.
I'm making a transaction is $150, can I walk away from this if something go bad? If I can, it's not that big of a deal. When we're talking about that $1,400 Falcone, that's a whole nother animal. But a lot of the transactions that I did before I met the group, is this something I can walk away from if it goes bad? If I can, cool. If not, I mean, if so, look what I gained. I gained a frag that cost $500 or $600. Got it for 150, 200. Saved a lot of money. Got a quality frag. So it is worth it. Because what
I
people
was
gotta
even,
understand, when you get around that retail, you getting that markup. because of the store, because of the people that work there. It's getting shot up. So if you can grab these wholesalers, you're getting it, for a good price. You just got to be careful. I mean, you're gonna take a chance, but I haven't got burnt for that one time. We're talking about out of like 40 transactions.
I
I
was
like
saying,
those odds.
and you got to look at, I mean, all the stuff that you said, and then
Mm-hmm.
like I said, it's just better for the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I can get it's worth it if you do your due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
If you do what you're supposed to do, it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Like for selling, I'm pretty sure if there was a pawn shop for selling, we would all be there.
Oh yeah.
But there's not. It's like so. This is the best avenue we got to get rid of stuff, and it
Mm-hmm.
makes it better because you get money back in your pocket, and maybe it's to fund something else that you may want, or whatever the case may be. But
Mm-hmm.
it's well worth it if you do what you're supposed to do. Like if you're just jumping out here and throwing your money at anybody and everybody's taking your money, well, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Exactly. Now,
And
see,
like
I
and like
might sound a little,
not to cut you off, Rob. Please don't forget what you're about to say. Another thing, Dre said something called win-win. It's a win-win for both people. Like the seller is moving the product. Like for instance, when I got 40 knots, this is a bottle this dude never really reached for, right?
Mhm.
Scent that I really wanted to get. It was a win-win because now he got some money back off of what he, a little under retail. I bought it, brand new joint. So it's a win-win for both people. So when it's done the appropriate way, the seller is able to go ahead and get rid of something that's redundant or either they don't touch. But at the same time, another person wind up getting a quality fragrance that's brand fucking new. What you're talking about, like maybe
Yeah.
two sprays, if that. Because one of the reasons why y'all doing the purge is like it's redundant. Another reason I don't even grab it that much. Maybe somebody else may enjoy it. So it's a win-win. You feel good that you're getting rid of it to somebody who's going to enjoy it. And at the same time, this person is saving an abundant amount of money rather than going to Neiman's Marcus and getting their head hit.
now,
Yeah,
see,
he gonna get you.
I'm guess
Mm-hmm.
I'm on that side of the spectrum too, because maybe what I'm about to say is going to be a little bit hypocritical because I have
Mm-mm.
sold fragrances in some groups, right? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
only buying from y'all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, what you guys,
But you have more of a I think you lean more to the retail side of things, so you see
Mm-hmm.
right?
the good parts in that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly, and I'm gonna get to that in a second. What
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying as far as when I'm buying stuff secondhand, I'm only doing it from y'all, the people that I trust, people that I got a rapport with, and people that I know who my nose match theirs, and I know that they actually take
That's
care
huge.
of
Huge.
their product, right?
Huge.
So I'm leery of folks that didn't have a fragrance for 5 years and may have kept it in the bathroom. It's dusty, you know. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
right. So I'm leery of stuff like that. So for me to have that type of headache on me, and I don't just to save 20, 30, 40 bucks, like Bernie just
Mm-hmm.
said, $350 bottle, he'll still pay $300 for it, right? So I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I would rather have the ease of mind and just go ahead and pay the
Mm-hmm.
$350 for the bottle, or find a discount code from one of the discounters and
Mm-hmm.
go that route, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unless I'm buying from one of the bottles from y'all. But like I said, when I have had instances where I've sold as well, but most of my most expensive bottles I am not selling. Any bottles that
Mm-hmm.
I'm selling are things that we've talked about as far as purge is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Are the bottles that I tend to not use anymore or don't serve another purpose. I mean, don't serve a purpose in my collection because I didn't replace it with something else that's similar, right?
Mm-hmm.
And those bottles tend to not still gravitate that high dollar mark, right? They might have been something I may have paid $150 for, this, that, and the other. So when we talked about the expenses of selling those type of fragrances, they don't yield a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm just the type of seller that, like, okay, if I put something at a certain price, there have been instances where I have lowered the price, but I'm mostly like, if for it to be worth my time, this, that, and the other, regardless of the fact that you might confine it, just that and the other. If you want my bottle, this is how much it costs, and this, that, the other. Otherwise, I could set it right back on the shelf, right? But
But but
right,
even with all that, you said something that makes sense too. Well, I mean, all of it makes sense, but you said something that's even more important in the buying standpoint
mhm,
is your peace of mind. So,
right,
would you personally, if it's not one of us, you going retail because that's where your peace of mind is. A lot of
mhm,
people, like myself, my peace of mind is kind of from getting stuff from sellers. Now, I only have a few sellers. I'm not buying from just anybody. I only have, besides y'all, I have maybe four, maybe four that I trust. Other than that, like if unless it's something that's super rare and I know that they're good people, I'm not getting it from them. But I think that's part of my peace of mind. My peace of mind is just having done business with a few of those sellers, so I know I can trust them because they haven't led me wrong yet. So I think that's where mine lies. I think others possibly lies in just giving their money to anybody. They don't care.
But I also like the part that Rock said. There's nothing wrong with doing retail. Like last weekend, me and Anton went to Arabian Oud. Sometimes certain times it is good getting retail. You get certain
Hmm.
samples, you get that experience. And going in the store, you know you secure, and it has benefits as well too. Especially like you go to a Neiman, like for instance, Rock, he go to the place so much, they may say, oh, he's a frag head. They throw a little extra stuff in there. Sometimes they may give you a little deal or whatever the case may be. So it's still certain aspects in the retail that's good too. But when you're a collector, now you have to start thinking, kind of like what Lenny was saying. You target a price, you deal with certain people, you look for it, and you can get that deal, you get it. You know, because now Dre transferring to rare stuff, hard to get stuff. You're not getting that in retail.
oh no,
So it kind
Yeah.
of forced him to that
mhm.
point that he had to do that. But I also respect Rock because last weekend we had a ball, man. The retail experience is not bad
And that
either.
also that plays a part in the retail experience, right? And I wish I
Mm-hmm.
would have kept that real. That would have been perfect to show for right now. But
Mm-hmm.
in your area, Bernie, in your
Mm-hmm.
particular area, there is not a fragrance that you cannot sample, except for the stuff
Mm-hmm.
that we get from Kuwait, right?
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, there's not in your area. There's a store for everything. There's a Joe Malone. There's that niche store. There's the Arabian Oud. You got your Neiman's. You got your Saks, and you
Mm-hmm.
pretty much can sample pretty much everything. Now, as
Mm-hmm.
far as where me and Dre are situated, I'm in Colorado. He's in Alabama. We got to venture out to smell a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah. And
Right.
you know the messed up part is you actually got a little bit more than me because you got Neiman's.
Right.
We
Exactly.
got Dillard's.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to venture out to smell a lot of stuff, right? So in that reference, in that way, that's reverence is that with certain brands that have not hit the discounters yet or are too new to hit the discounters yet, and we're going to talk about discounters in a second too, right? Retail is our only exposure to be able to go ahead and get those. Like or we can go directly on the site to get them, right?
Mm-hmm.
um and a lot of people will say that's the only time that they would purchase retail is when the fragrance is new, they can't get it out on discounters, and so they're not going to be able to save it pretty much on it anyway, so they might as well just go to the retailer and get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where we have discounters that might take, they come in with 20 per, I mean, 10-15% off retail. And then if you have a good discounter, you might can find a discount code that takes another 10, 20, 30% off of that
Mm-hmm.
particular fragrance. And that's always a good way of purchasing. But folks always go with that one is finding out which one is the legit discounter and which one is a non-legit. discounter. Now, you guys have all purchased from discounters. How do you go about finding out which ones are legit and which ones aren't?
That's another situation where I treat it just like Facebook groups.
Mm-hmm.
I find one or two that's good, I'll stick with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
really venture out. Like I know there's a lot out there that people shop from, and which is cool. I mean, you can shop wherever you want to, but it's just for me personally. Max Aroma being one of my favorite ones, and Lucky Scent being the other. Um, I know I'm able to find discount codes a lot with them that actually work. Because I know, what is it, Fragrance Buy?
Mm-hmm.
Fragrance Buy always have that, oh, we got 30% off, 30% off, 30% off. But it's like, it's always 30% off. Like, it's never not 30% off. It's like,
Yeah.
because I'm weird, like, the way I operate is a little bit weird. Um, I need to see it actually leave. Like, if you say it's 30% off, once I go to checkout, like, if I see it here and it says this bottle of such and such is regular 425,
Mm-hmm.
30% off is three. I mean, I'm just making up numbers. Don't My math ain't off. I'm just not doing it. The bottle is 350. Once I get to checkout, you said 30% off. I'm expecting 30% off of the 350.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It should be 275 at that
It
point.
should be 275 at that point. So
Mm-hmm.
once
Right.
it gets there, that's my issue with fragrance buys. Like
Mm-hmm.
once it gets there to the checkout, it still says that three whatever. Like it's not 30% off then. Like it was. This is just something that's
Mm-hmm.
this stand. This is your standard price. You're just telling me
Mm-hmm.
30% off. I don't like that. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not buying from you.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the price could be great. I don't care. I want to see it. I want to see I want to see the 30.
Well, 275 would be 25% off, but I'm like Dre, I ain't about to do the rest of the math.
No, they were not
Mm-mm.
actually doing math. But
Fuck that.
I just wanted to correct that before somebody correct me in the comments. So,
that's why I had to throw out the
Mm-hmm.
disclaimer. Like I'm not actually doing the math here. I'm just
all right,
trying to give an
okay,
example.
right. But
But
Bernie,
I
you
just know
ever had
with
a bad experience from a discounter?
Mm-hmm. It sure did. Fragrance neck. Yeah, I'm putting you out there. Yeah, terrible.
shit.
Terrible. By the time I got through cursing and calling them everything except for the name of God, I got my money back and stuff. But that was the only time that I had a bad experience. And, afterwards I felt bad about it because it was that time, it was like around COVID. It was a lot going on. Deliveries was jacked up. But that was the only time that I had a bad experience. Everyone else, everything else been pretty good, pretty cool.
I think most of those are probably your safest bets because you're either going to
Mm-hmm.
get your product or you're going to get your money.
Yep.
And the thing about discounters is shop around because you have
Yeah.
some that carry some brands, some that don't, but the
Mm-hmm.
prices fluctuate. You
Yep.
might find a discounter that might have one that's a good $100 cheaper than a different um a,
Site.
a a
Mm-hmm.
different site, a different discounter. Another thing
Mm-hmm.
that's important to you, because I know a lot of people say they refuse to pay for shipping, but another thing that may be important is how fast that particular discounter gets stuff to you, right? A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people will pay more just to have their product in hand. Like a lot of discounters that will offer fragrances at a much deeper discount, but they probably don't have it in hand and probably won't have it in hand for weeks, but they have that price promised to you, and you'll sit there and
Mm-hmm.
wait for that product for about a month before it gets there, as opposed to the
Mm-hmm.
one that has it for about $20 more, right? And you missed out. I mean, or you're willing to either willing to pay it to get it quicker, or you're willing to wait to get it cheaper. So
And that's one of the things I like about Max Aroma. I really shouldn't be plugging them like this, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
good.
they got a lot of times they'll have that free 2-day shipping.
mm-hmm.
And so like I like using them a lot too. And then there's another thing on there with a lot of I'm not plugging them. As a matter of fact, I'll plug them. I don't care. You don't have to pay me for this. Shop runner. this little app thing called Shop Runner.
Mm.
I
Or
heard of them.
for a
Yep.
lot, yeah, for a lot of places they'll do free. Like you have to
Free
put in your what is it called? They'll do free 2-day shipping.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Like you just have, and it'll be small. Sometimes it's on these sites. It's on a lot of sites. It'll be small. It'll say sign in the Shop Runner, and I guess they'll take over the whole little shipping process thing. You just have to look out for it.
You have to, and the thing is that you have to be careful with that because Shop Runner is actually not doing a damn thing.
Of course
The
not.
place is they not doing anything, and then they sit there and they take 2-3% of whatever it is that you purchase, right? Because you got to remember there is a fee for Shop Runner, right? So if you
I ain't
don't,
never paid nothing for them.
yeah, you when they put that little shipping thing right there, be an extra $2-3, something $2-3 beside that. That shit,
Shit, not for me, Jack. That's why I'm plugging them because I ain't never
right?
paid nothing.
Right. So,
I
right,
was
yeah,
saying if that's the case, I unplug them.
right.
So,
So you gotta pay.
never mind.
If you're not paying attention, you will sit there and see. You would think that little shipping protection they put that on there, that little shipping protection right on top of the cart, and it'd be the extra $2-3. That's Shop Runner. Shop Runner was getting that money for absolutely
Most of the time I
Good
decided they
God
ain't charging
Almighty.
me nothing. So
right.
if they charge it,
God.
never mind, guys. Don't use them.
Everybody on a hustle, son. Everybody,
Right.
shit. Let
Everybody
me
getting
get that.
something.
Shop Runner is getting that money for absolutely nothing.
Damn.
Yep. Okay.
No,
All
I
right. So
mean, but that's all if you just want to get 2 days. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't cover everything. We're gonna have to come back and revisit it, but we gonna go
we
ahead
can
and
keep going to this a podcast. We ain't
oh,
stuck on no time.
okay, well, cool. All right, sure. All right.
Like we limited. This just be a longer show. It is what it is. We ain't tripping.
That's what's up. What's up? Okay,
Unless
so
y'all
let's
niggas tired.
well, when it comes to buying and selling, let's go ahead and discuss some of this terminology, right?
Mm.
So BNID, what does that mean?
Brand new inbox.
Mm.
Right. So when
You
you
better
buy
make sure of it too.
groups, when you buy in these groups and they sit there and they tell you it's BNB, that means that bottle is supposed to be untouched and in its original packaging, right? And so that's what you
As a
should
matter of fact,
expect when they tell you
What this
BNB.
another one, and I think people
yeah, you
ask
talking
about
about
it.
BNIB.
Conus.
Yeah, BNIB. Yeah.
Another one I see a lot.
This is
People
what
ask
you
about
want
is
to.
Conus.
This is what you
Oh
want to
shit!
see when somebody says brand new inbox.
Yep.
Indeed,
hmm Right.
Conus.
Conus is continental U.S. So
Continental
if somebody says Conus, they mean U.S. continental states, not
within it, right in the
Alaska.
state.
Yeah, like not Alaska, not anywhere across the water. We're talking
Right.
about literally in the states
Canada is not part of the continental U.S. Mexico
at
is not
all.
part of the U.S. Alaska is not part of the continental U.S. Those will incur extra shipping charges if you try to ship over there, right? And so yeah, and if a buyer slips in that they're from Alaska or Hawaii, this, that, and the other, you
Then they
should
missed out on a sale.
yeah,
Mhm.
either you don't sell to that person or you definitely charge them additional shipping, right? So, um,
And most of them I don't deal with that at all because that requires a whole lot. I know for Canada they require you to do a whole bunch of extra stuff. I'm not doing it.
yep.
I refuse.
All right. Full presentation. What does that mean?
Full praise. Oh, do I have a full praise? Yes, I do. So full praise.
Full presentation.
We'll go with the easy box. I don't feel like picking that big ass box up.
Mhm.
Full presentation. You get the bottle. You get the cap. You also get the original box it comes in. Full praise.
Mhm.
Full
Okay.
praise
Yeah.
is
So,
not just a full bottle. Full bottle. Full praise does not mean it's a
full
full bottle. That just means you get the bottle with the cap and everything that it came with. And that would be full presentation.
Okay. Partial.
Partial. Partial.
All right.
Mm.
So you're getting the bottle You're getting
You're getting the bottle.
you're getting the juice in the bottle,
This
but
would be
it's not
considered a
right.
low
It's not
partial,
too much or a high partial.
high partial. We'll kind of see it. Damn it. There we go. A little bit. Kind of high partial. And you also have a very high partial, very barely used. I guess we can use this. Sprayed once. So this would be
Right.
a very high partial.
Mhm.
Most of the time, people won't say a very high, but you know. Oh, go ahead.
A split.
Split. Why am I looking for stuff to pick up? Fuck it.
Explain what it means. Just explain
Yeah.
what it means.
I mean, I have a show just because I want to. Why not? Split. I get a bottle. I want other people to be able to try it. You pay me whatever I'm charging for that. I send you that decant. 9 times out of 10, I keep the bottle. I'm just splitting what I have with you, but I'm keeping the bottle, and you get a decant of what I have.
Is there any more?
Those are key ones because I know some people who are new, even some people that shop, they probably don't know what those terms are because you see it come up a lot.
Maybe some people be confused by it because they don't really be knowing. Like they think the split means they take some out of the bottle and they just send them the bottle. Like, no, you're not getting the bottle. You're getting, and a lot of people will explain that. Others kind of think you already know that. So those are good things to know. Trying to think what else. Yeah, sales.
I mean, we kind of touched on it earlier, but during this section we can probably expound on it a little bit. But PayPal friends and family and that's goods and services.
Oh yeah, goods and services is just a which a lot of people, you know, it's crazy because a lot of people are using that now. Like even buyers, they're using goods and services, and I think it's for multiple reasons. First would be taxing. Oh well, first would be paying for it. Second would probably be taxes because PayPal ain't playing no more. If you make a certain amount in sales, they're taxing you. They're taking record of that and they're taxing you on goods and services. You use friends and family, that just looks like you pass the money back and forth. It is what it is. Like we said earlier, doing friends and family, that leaves the buyer open to possibly getting scammed because once you give them that money, that's just their money. There's nothing you can do about it. You can ask all day, but you're not getting that back. But it's also a good thing because you as the buyer will have to pay a certain amount. I don't think it's typically too high, depending on how much you're sending. There is a fee to send, but it's not as bad. And then the seller also pays a fee to extract that money if they want it immediately, or they're just going to wait a couple of days and they'll get the full payment. Goods and services protects the buyer. Doesn't necessarily protect the seller. It's basically for like if the buyer buys something, they receive a faulty product, they try to work something out with the seller. The seller says nope. Well, let's just say the seller scammed them, sent them something that they wasn't supposed to send, or it was just fake all the way around, but they didn't send anything at all. Well, you can go back and say, well, hey, let's work this out. No, I scammed you. Cool. PayPal, give me my money back. They scammed me. Gotcha. Now the seller has nothing. I think, if I'm not mistaken, with the goods and services, I think I could be wrong, but I think you have to wait until the buyer receives their stuff before you can get that money. But I'm not entirely sure. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like once they get a receipt that and it depends on what your account is on PayPal. If you got a good report on PayPal, you will receive your funds right away. If you're
Yeah.
just getting started on PayPal, PayPal will hold your funds until the buyer receives their stuff and says that this stuff is the way they expected it. Right.
Yeah.
So,
And really, like,
mm-hmm,
the bottom line with all of it is
mm-hmm,
we just want everybody to do their due diligence when doing stuff. Because like if
exactly.
you see a price, and this is like we talked about Louis Vuitton man, he had a price out there for a whole bunch of Louis Vuitton fragrances that were way too good to be true. You got a couple people, and another thing.
Mm.
I don't know why
Look,
people do this.
I'm about to be Leonard for 1 second, not me.
Let's see. I don't think he didn't get none of us on that.
Right.
But
Mhm.
people, if you have not bought from a seller, don't go on there and say he legit. Because that's what that's what got a lot of people. Like, a lot of people just going on there saying dude was legit. And I remember seeing one dude saying that he bought something from him, didn't even receive the package, and he just called him legit. Like, you didn't receive it yet. Why would you just stop doing that? Because then you mess it up for the people that really need to know this stuff. And now look at you, a worldwide phenomenon, and this guy $15,000 richer because y'all called him legit. Like, do your due diligence. If it's too good to be true, you haven't had one person come out and say, I actually received a product from this guy. Look at who you're like, look at who, like, the messed up part about him was he was getting legit people, like people that know better. And because somebody else vouched for him, they fell for the trap. Luckily, some of them didn't get got. Oh,
I didn't get got.
I definitely I didn't go for it, but
It ain't funny. It ain't funny. I ain't
it
even
ain't
mad at
like
you
because
because it's
I
a serious
legitimately feel
matter. The
bad for
person
everybody that
still
did
trying to
get
get
got.
their money right. So,
But then another thing with that we didn't touch on at all: red flags.
Mm.
Pay attention to the red flags.
we touched on it a little bit.
A little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but I saw some stuff with that whole transaction with that dude. I was like, you ignored every red flag in the book.
Mm-hmm.
You sent the dude said, okay, send the money here. The money didn't go through. All right, well, send it here. The money didn't go through again. It's not meant for you to get it. Stop sending him money. Like you're sending it until it works. Like there's a reason that his Cash App, his PayPal, and all the legitimate things ain't working. Stop sending it.
I mean, those avenues will pretty much tell you that it's a possible scam. And if they sit there
It's
and
a scam.
if they tell you that, well, before you send this could be a possible scam, then don't continue. Don't try to do a different payment method. Don't do that. You're just abandon ship and try to get that fragrance some other type of way.
You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes it's just not worth it.
It's
And a
not.
lot of people trying to get the great deals, like, well, you didn't get that great deal. All you did was give your money away to somebody that you're never going to get this from again. And you could have every private detective on earth, you're not getting that money.
Right.
There you go.
And it was crazy because I'm like, people really, like, you cannot ignore the red flags. Like, if you see it there, even if it's not a real legitimate red flag, if in your gut something says, nah, I shouldn't be doing this. It could be the most legit person on earth. If something says don't do it, then just don't do it. It's not worth it.
And even and even beside though that that red flag, but before you even get engaged to the point where you actually are sending money to this person, okay, how long have they been in the group? Right? How many posts do you see them making in the group? Do they socialize within the group? Do they talk to people on a regular basis? If they just popped up and then immediately they got something for sale, that's a red flag.
That's starting to become a rule in some forums too, where
Right.
I think they saying don't be putting anything up to sale if you haven't even interacted with people. I think
You haven't
that might
introduced
be
yourself.
Yeah, I think we gonna start doing that.
yeah. Yeah, I
But
saw a post about it.
we do that in Clubhouse. Go follow the Fragrance Clubhouse on Facebook, please. But we do that there. Like we don't mind if you sell, but interact because you need to be contributing to the group to be able to enjoy the reap the benefits of the group. Like you're not just gonna come in there to start selling, but you never say anything to anybody because that's what it looks like. You and
Like
even
you're
for
scamming them.
legitimate sellers, like this is not your personal get rich quick page. This is a page that we allow people to come to and do what they do, but we also want you to contribute to the group. If all you're doing is coming in and selling, then you need to make your own page and have people come there. Also, unless you know the person, be weary of the people that are selling something and it's sold, and then somebody just jumps in the comments and says, "Hey, man, I got it." Be aware of those people because I've seen a lot, definitely in a couple of other groups. I've seen people stealing people's pictures and pretending like it's theirs.
See, and I'm on the outside and I'm looking in. As much as y'all telling me, right? I'm like, why is it worth it for me to buy but fragrances on the black market if I got to go through all this stress, right?
It may not be worth it to you.
Right.
I'm saying like everybody's different. So if you don't want to have to go through all that, then maybe it's just not for you to do. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is just for the people that are willing to go through that. Because I mean, and there's been groups that I've left because it was way too much scamming in it. It's like if I see, go ahead.
No. Like this is like when you're doing the due diligence. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes. You know, you can do a search, then you reach out to certain people, and that give you enough information. You see 1 or 2 red flags, you just walk away from it. That's pretty much
Which
it.
is also the benefit of the groups. Like interact with the people, get some people that you trust, or some people that at least seem knowledgeable. Get cool with them. Then you can ask them. Because I got people come to me all the time asking me questions. It's like it's all it takes. Don't be nervous or shy. It's the internet. We don't know each other.
And for the folks in the audience, I know the answer to all these questions. I'm just speaking from the layman's point of view.
Of course,
exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So everything that they're talking, I'm pretty much knowing the answer to because of the fact that we've experienced everything, right? And so, as far as buying and as far as selling, right? So what we're bringing into you is these nuances that you have to look for, right? And folks are right because also the biggest thing that folks say in Fragcom that the biggest fool is somebody that just spends their money all retail, right? Because this stuff can be extremely expensive, right? And so but if you just that type of person that just needs that peace of mind, then go ahead and just buy retail or buy from a reputable discounter, right?
Because at the end of the day, like people have to understand, you people are gonna talk crazy about everything. At the end of the day, this is your money. You do what you want with it. It's like you don't let anybody joke you out of being comfortable doing what you're doing.
Exactly.
Like we all make jokes. We all gonna be laughing. We pick at Rock all the time because he buys retail, but at the end of the day, we know that's what he's most comfortable with. So we don't actually judge him. We're gonna pick at you. Nobody's immune to getting these jokes. If I do something dumb, they're joking on me. If Bernie does something dumb, they're joking on me. I mean, joking on him. It's like nobody's immune to the jokes, but don't let anybody take you out of your comfort from the jokes.
Right.
It's like do what you're comfortable with.
Right. So exactly. Okay, one term I forgot. We might as well throw this in, but tester.
Oh, tester. Do I have one? Let me see if I got one. I don't. A tester is tester is basically the same fragrance, but it's not packed to sell. A tester is just the one. If you get a tester, you're not getting the original packaging. The tester is basically just what you see on the floor. when you go to a retail place and you're testing out fragrances. That's what they have on the counter for you
I
to just
like them.
spray up all willy nilly.
I like those Zerjoff testers because the ones I've seen, they got the notes on printed on the back, so you can
Actually,
tell.
Zerjov and Mind Games does that.
Mm. Hmm.
Because I noticed that with a test of Grandmaster, you got it all just printed out on the back.
That's dope.
And there's somebody else that does it too. I can't remember who. But I know Zerjov in Mind Games for sure. I can't think of who else. But yeah.
That
I was
was a good
saying,
one, Rock.
I
You
was
said
saying,
what?
yeah.
I didn't hear you, Bernie.
No, that was a good one
Oh
because
yeah.
it's a good way. That's a good way to save money when you get them testers. Because somebody
Mhm.
asked yesterday, "Is it safe?" Yeah, it's the same juice. It's just the juice that they put out.
Yeah.
You know, when people want to sample it.
Right, and a lot of testers don't come with the original cap either. They
Mm-hmm.
put a generic cap on there as well.
Yeah.
But
Unless you go to one of them high profile places,
Mm-hmm.
they'll keep them. Because I know the Neiman's in Atlanta, they keeping the cap on that thing.
mhm.
They keeping all the caps jacked. Well, I don't think
It's another one too. You can sometimes, and I think Rock, we had a discussion about this in chat. Sometimes you can get a discount on a fragrance if they don't have the cap. They don't have the box and they don't have the cap. And that was one of the things we were talking about. Do that make or break? If you're trying to save money and someone's selling, they say, "Hey, I got a test of no cap or whatever." Because of no cap, that makes it a little bit cheaper too. That don't mean that it's a messed up fragrance. It's just that it's supposed to be tested. They don't have a cap. But like Andre said, some places they're gonna have a cap on it regardless. But that's another one that
true.
you may see.
Yep, exactly. All
Oh,
right. So
well.
what's some other points that we need to let the people know as far as buying and selling?
Oh,
Now we didn't
I
cover
think
retail.
well, I kind of want to help out the sellers a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
to keep at least the novice sellers. The other ones they're pretty good at what they do. Sellers, to have a great rapport with somebody, do your packaging right. Pack it the way that you would want it packed for you,
Mm-hmm.
because that plays a big part. I've seen that going around a lot lately too.
That's a
That
good one.
people are packing very minimalized, where the buyer feels like they got lucky that they even showed up in one piece.
Mm-hmm.
Pack great. It may cost you some extra, but it's not going to make nothing. It's going to cost you some extra money to do it, but it's better for your brand, because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's your brand. It's better for your brand um, if you pack it right.
Pack it right.
Pack it right,
And
and
I mean, you still have to realize that you are still on the hook with that package until it actually arrives in one piece.
until it
Right.
arrives.
So right. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone gave you $150 on that package and you went and spent that $150 on something, and by the time it got there and they got a broken bottle, you owe somebody $150. Right.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't insure the package, right? And especially if you go USPS, um uh um I'm trying to think. Regular shipping does not come with insurance. You have to add that. And
Hmm.
depending on how much it is like so much for $100. I forgot what the exact month. But if you
What is
send it
that with USPS?
USPS, right?
Okay.
If you send it priority, it automatically comes with $100. But that doesn't do nothing if you send somebody a $500 fragrance. You got to add more insurance on there, right? So and that's just to cover you, right? And if you're not telling the post office that it's flammable or that it's breakable or this, that, and the
Mm-hmm.
other, it don't matter how much insurance you put on it. If it's breakable and you didn't tell them it was breakable, they handle it different at that point, right?
Yeah.
Right. So
Oh,
mhm,
I'm kind of all over the place a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but also buyers
mhm,
understand that the shipper has absolutely nothing to do with the carrier. So it was like if you sit there and complain to the person that you bought it from, well, not the shipper, but the seller. Um, if you complain to the seller that it's stuck in transit somewhere, understand that they can't do nothing about that.
Mhm.
Like, that has nothing to do with them. They can't. They don't control the carrier services. The best they can do is the same thing you can do is call.
Mhm.
Other than that, like y'all may be able to come to an agreement where it didn't show up when it was supposed to show up, and maybe you can do something. 9 times 10, that's not going to happen. But they don't have nothing to do with that. We can't. I'm not a seller. But they can't control how long it takes in transit. Because I've seen that too, where people get upset with the seller that something didn't show up on the day that they said it was going to show up. It's like it's kind of dumb.
Mhm. It's out of their control.
Yeah, like they can't do anything about that.
Yeah, man. Real
I'm
talk.
trying to think of any other problems I've seen.
And buyers, this don't be lazy, man. Just do your due diligence. People in the Fragcom community are very approachable. Do your due diligence, and
Yeah,
if you're still not sure, reach out to a few people. It was something I just recently got, and Dre shot me the dude name, and me and the dude kind of was like, "This is the first time I've bought from him. This is the first time, I got something from him." And we kind of had a standoff, and then once it went through, I was like, I understand that the seller is at
Mm-hmm.
risk just like the buyer. You know what I mean? And it turned out good, but it came from a referral from Dre. So just take that little time to do that due diligence and hit the search. It's real helpful, man. It's real helpful.
I said
Another,
all the people that are new to the game, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody that
Mm-hmm.
you see as knowledgeable. Like
is this
oh, go ahead.
is this right? I'm just piggybacking off of you. Is this
Oh,
a good
okay.
price? Is it because I do that with you all the time?
Hmm.
And even on stuff that I have no intentions on buying, I just see prices out there for a particular partial, right? And I'm like, okay. And I'm looking at that and I'm like, okay, is that a good price for this partial? Right.
You sure
Yeah.
do.
And I just
You
want
sure
to
do.
know because I know that you guys have experience when it comes to buying partials of that nature. Like, okay, yeah, that's a good price for this particular type of partial. Right. But
Hmm.
what I was going to say earlier, as far as buyers are concerned as well, don't make yourself a mark. I see a lot of people do in search of posts. I mean, I haven't heard anybody getting burnt on those, but in
Yeah.
my opinion, I just feel like that's just setting yourself up to be a mark. If you sit there and
Mm-hmm.
say
Yeah.
if you just sit there, I'm in search of this, then everybody got that all of a sudden because they want your money.
They want
Yeah.
the money. It's like
Right.
I've been
Yeah.
weary of doing the thing like that. 'Cause I'm like,
Right.
you can bring out anybody when you say that. Like,
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You can bring out anybody when you say that. So be careful when you say that. What you want will present itself. Just wait. And just wait. Everybody is
it
buying and
don't take
selling
nothing.
everything.
Like, I
Everybody's
promise
buying
you,
and selling
it's way easier.
everything.
Like I found, like it's way easier just to get cool with some people that are knowledgeable,
Right.
and then a lot of times those people will know people that know people,
Mhm.
and they can plug you into where you need to be. Like
Mhm.
don't be in such a rush, or don't see a price and be like, oh man, I have to have it right now.
Right.
Like don't want something so bad that you don't do what you're supposed to do to get it.
I got
Exactly.
another thing. What's that thing that they do? It's this protection thing that this particular group have where the person holds it or something.
Oh,
Um,
Oh no, that's nah.
okay. I didn't know you want to bring that up
you didn't want to
again,
bring it
but
up. You don't want to talk about it?
Oh no, I'm saying that's not what that is.
no, I'm
That's
just
what I
saying
thought
like
it was. Yeah, Rock
do
brought
it
that to
help?
my attention. That's not at all how they do it. That's
Oh.
a broker thing where
Hmm.
the leader of the group or the admin of the group hold the money until the buyer gets the product. Absolutely not. Like if
Okay.
you're gonna be a broker, now there's no slight to anybody, but just in my personal opinion, if you're gonna be a broker, you need to broker the whole thing. So you
Right.
need to be receiving that product and sending that product off as
Hmm.
well as holding the money if you're gonna be holding the money at all. Because that
Hmm.
person can say anything.
The service
Hmm.
is called admin brokerage. right? And that's when the admin of a particular group supposed to serve as a broker, right? But in this particular group, the admin was only a warehouse was supposed to hold the money. The seller was still responsible for shipping the product to the buyer, and then the buyer goes ahead and say, "Okay, I got the product," and then the admin releases the money, right? The problem with that is that we're saying that if there's going to be a broker, then the broker needs to broker the whole deal. They deal with the product.
Yeah.
The product is okay, and then they ship the product, and then they ship it back. And that way, we have no problems, as opposed to the seller. The buyer, once they receive a product, can still say either I didn't receive it or I didn't receive it as advertised.
You jammed
And
up.
and it's not, it doesn't bring any guarantees to the seller. So
Yeah.
right.
It just seems I don't know exactly how they do it, so I don't want to say they are doing it wrong or anything. I just don't. Just from hearing it, it doesn't sound like anything that protects the seller from any goofy that's happening. I'm like, if you're gonna do the service, in my personal opinion, and this is only my opinion, if you're going to do the service, you need to do it full fledged. And
oh yeah, we had a whole conversation about it, and then first I was like, okay, it doesn't matter what me. I feel like there needs to be a minimum dollar amount attached to it, because
that's also because see, when I was going back and forth with you on that, I was thinking that it was a complete brokerage service. Right. So I didn't realize it was just literally just you hold my money until they get something I send off. So I have neither one.
No, you ain't gonna be holding my money. He said, Rock said he don't need nobody to hold my money.
I'm like that. Because once I looked at it, I'm like, that don't make no sense. Like, you gonna hold my money and my product?
I'm like, okay, well, if I'm selling you something that I'm selling you a $300 bottle for $100, right? You're getting a fantastic deal, right? You got 80% of the juice, right? And you're getting the bottle for $130, $140, $200 off retail, and it's coming to you free shipping, this, that, and the other. But you want somebody to hold my money just for me to sit there and say that I didn't gave you a half free bottle for nothing? No.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can understand if you're talking about something rare, something hard to get, like a couple of bottles that Dre has, right? Something that's going to cost $400, $500, this, that, and the other. Okay, fine, because now you're talking about some serious money. But I ain't going out of my way to get $100 out of you. I'm already taking a loss because I'm already
Rock was adamant about that shit.
Right, I'm already taking a loss because I'm giving you a 300 something bottles for $150.
But again, they're still just dependent on what they're comfortable with. So I don't see a problem with it either way, because I mean, if the buyer and the seller are comfortable with it, by all means do what you do. Like even with what they got going on now, like if you're comfortable with it, cool. Just for me personally, I'm not doing that. It doesn't. If I'm the seller in the situation, I'm not seeing where that makes sense for me. Like, I send my product off, you keep my money. This person receives my product. They decide, nah, I'm going to do some fugazi stuff. Yeah, hey guys, nah, it's not as advertised. So go ahead and get my money back. And then, because as far as I know, I don't know how they would track to see if that's even a legitimate claim.
It might just be it could be a blind buyer that smelled some stuff and didn't like it, or folks are shady. They can go ahead and open that bottle, get them a nice little decant out of it, and send it back.
That too.
Money back. Yeah. So
and there's nothing you can do about it at the time. I'm like, not necessarily something I would particularly use, but you know. If y'all like it, I'll like it. Whatever. I don't have control with that.
Look, I would have to be getting at least $200 for me to even entertain it. So
yeah, it's gonna have to be as a seller.
Yeah, because if it's 100, if it's a bottle I'm selling for $100, no. Send me my $100. I send you the product. If we got to go through bullshit, then I'll wait till the next seller. So, I mean, I'll wait till the next buyer. I'm good. Yeah.
I would say, yeah. So
Yeah.
it is what it is on that.
It is what it is. But shoot, I'm out of stuff, y'all. What else y'all got to talk about?
No, we covered everything, man.
We covered it all. We did pretty good, guys.
But I mean, we went a little longer than when we typically go, and you can tell when Leonard gone because we just playing whatever. So,
Just do what we do.
having some fun with it. We ain't got no chaperones. So
Say, man, I gotta take me a nap and get ready. I gotta take my nap, man. Come on, man. Where we going?
Jesus Christ.
Well, we about to close it out, but y'all, you know, if we forgot any tips about buying and selling and this, that, and the other, go ahead and put them in the comments, put them in the chat. We appreciate everybody for coming out, this, that, and the other. So we hope that this information was helpful. And if there's anything, or if you like how we get down, we here every Sunday. Go ahead and follow us on here. Follow us on Instagram. We drop what we wearing. We drop what we bought new, all on Instagram. So we are cool, guys. Come follow us. Come kick it with us. This is your invitation to the secret society that we call the Frag Illuminati. Anybody can join. We just ask you, hey, just come rock with us. We do what we do.
I just wanted to add something too. So people who might have had a certain issue that came up that we didn't cover, put it in the comments and let us know the resolution that you used in order to fix the situation too. Or if there's a particular scam. So that way it can really help the community in a whole. We covered as much as we could, but other people might have situations where they ran into something, and just talk about what happened to you and the solution that you got for the resolution for that issue. So just add
I'll say, yeah. And also, if y'all happen to just catch us on Facebook, don't be afraid to ask us nothing. We'll help you as much as we can. Like you don't. I said, don't be afraid to ask anybody anything. It's the internet. Nobody knows you. It doesn't matter. Like, no need to be shy. It's like,
I like what Rock said. If I answer this question, you better make sure you tune into one of the episodes.
You better. You got
to. You listen to any of my shows? I ain't answering that.
I know that's right. Hey, look, and I got that from another fragrance reviewer, and I'm like, shoot, he's right. I'm like, shoot, I put this in. I mean, it takes a lot of time to put this information out. And folks don't understand it does take a lot of time to take this information out. And we built the reputation of being fragrance guys. So, and I
because realistically, it's like a year or two in the making.
Right.
Yeah. Realistically.
And we got the reputation of being a fragrance guys and on our outside circle. Right. So if you want us to do you a solid, then do us a solid. Follow us. Right, follow us on here. And anytime you hit my inbox and you got a question, I don't have no problem answering it. But if you always hit me up and you want to know what's a good fragrance to wear on this particular occasion, what particular fragrance to wear.
No, you gotta watch the show for that.
And you not watching?
You gotta watch the show for that. You have to answer some trivia questions before I get to answer them questions. You even just come out here be using us up. Like we trying to use you too. Tell your friends about it.
You're right. So yeah.
Everybody want to learn something about fragrances. Everybody need these inside tips and things. just tell them about us real quick.
What's crazy because they do us the same way at work, and I work in IT at the hospital, right? And we all sit down and we eat lunch together. So yeah, so pretty much the whole IT department is shut down around lunchtime. And you'd be surprised that most people will come to our table and ask us a freaking IT question. And we looking at each other like, you don't see us eating? You don't see us eating? I'm like, what the hell? You know, go through the proper channels. We don't come, you eating, I don't sit there and say, well, Doc, I got this headache. You know, what's going on? You eating.
Oh man, like we just want a little love back, man. It don't take nothing.
Exactly. I'm like,
We gave you the tips and tricks. Just help us out a little bit. Check out the show.
No doubt, no doubt.
Exactly.
All right, fellas. I'm on 2%, so
All right. Okay. Well,
Oh, you gonna be out of there?
get up out of here. So we're gonna get up out of here. So till the next time, fellas, we are the Illuminati, y'all.
Holla at you.